Jets. Go somewhere else. I can't take this nonsense anymore. How are you going to blame the defense?
I got the pouch.
Screw green bean.
Damn it.
But once you get to the sausage, I feel like we're doing something.
Go Jets.
And that's the other part of this, is people are insanely jealous of this show. This show gets the best of the best, and it does a different way, with positivity.
He scores!
Ow, my head! No, come on.
What would you give up to see a Jets Super Bowl?
All of my friends and family.
Hit those milk done, boys and girls.
Freeze run.
Hold on to your underwear, ladies, and stand by, bitches. It's now time for Talkin Jets with your hosts, Matt, Ryan, and Green Bean.
Welcome to Talkin Jets. My name's Ryan, and I'll be your pilot tonight. I am joined alongside my co-pilots. I have Mr. Green Bean to my this way. I got Mr. Matt O'Leary to my that way. Green Bean, how you doing tonight?
Dude, I'm so happy tonight. I really am. This is going to be the best, and I love you guys.
O'Leary, how you doing?
I am doing well, inching that much closer to the NFL draft. Like, we're in the tease range. It's not close enough to where you have like that, I don't know, kid on Christmas Eve excitement, but it's close enough you could almost taste it. So I feel like it's a big tease right now, but I'm ready for this draft.
I am getting so amped up for this draft. Jets have the number 10 overall pick. There's going to be 4 quarterbacks that likely go before us, which means the Jets are getting a top 6 player in this draft. I'm really, really pumped about this. If you guys want to come hang out with us, we still got tickets on sale. TalkinJets.com. First day of the NFL draft. The last day to buy them is going to be next Tuesday. So if you want to come out with us, we have to let the main event know exactly how many people we're bringing. So next Tuesday is going to be the final day for ticket sales. I am rounding out the, if you guys haven't checked your email, check your email for anyone who did buy a ticket. I'm trying to get the final shirt sizes for some of you guys because I do want to send the shirts out as soon as I can. I'm hoping they get there by the draft. I think they will. We got like 2.5 weeks at this point, so I think we're pretty good. But yeah, very much excited for this. Green Bean, how pumped are you to be with all these fans watching us get Rome Odunze or Brock Bowers or maybe Joe Alt falls to us? Who knows?
Dude, I'll tell you what. Number one, I'm just so excited to come up and hang out with you guys. I can't wait to fucking eat some New York food and kind of watch Jeremy get fatter and fatter before our eyes. That's one of my favorite things to do, is just watch that happen. So I'm excited for that. But I'm going to also say I am just so incredibly excited that we have crowd cams in this at this draft party. So when people react naturally, we're going to get we're going to have the ability to pick. If somebody has a sour reaction or whatever, we're not going to be the only ones that can get caught with our pants down anymore. I think that's the most. How many times has it been brought back up? You know, it's like, you know, it's hard to, you know, in that first second when you hear the pick, it's hard to like control your reaction, right? Whatever it is. Sometimes you kind of know, like we all knew Zach Wilson was going to happen. When it's official, it's official. But you know, but like look at the year with Sauce Gardner. Garrett, we had no idea. I mean, you thought we were going to take Sauce. I was convinced they were going to take Thibodeau. I couldn't believe it when they took Sauce Gardner. So, you know, it's like, it's going to be really cool. I'm just so happy that we're kind of adding people to that party of facial recognition of how you really felt the second the name was called. Misery loves company, maybe. I don't know. It's going to be the fucking best, man. I just can't wait to be there with you guys in Long Island, in the epicenter of Jets country. And I can't wait. I wish it was tomorrow.
Yeah, you bring up the whole, we get caught with our pants down because of our facial reactions. All those people that go to the draft that get caught with their pants down when they pan to the Jet fans, we want you guys to be in that highlight reel that we use for next year's promo and all that good stuff.
That's right.
And then we can throw it back in your faces. How many times were we tagged in like, you know, I can't believe they thought that. Sorry. That's what I was feeling. You're going to get the authenticity of our actual reactions at the time it's happening. Matt, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was going to say one, like, if it hasn't been evident in the years we've been doing this, it's our genuine raw reaction. No faking. You can't fake all three of our reactions to the Will McDonald pick. There is no scripting that from last year. That is just cinematic gold. So I'm so glad that happened. And I can't wait for it this year. I may make a request though. I want to get your guys' thoughts. I'm not usually a big rules guy, but I think we should make a rule at the NFL draft party. And I think our rule should be that you can't check your phone and spoil the pick. Because my fear is that someone's going to go on Twitter and be like, come up to us and be like, hey, Connor Hughes said they're drafting, insert name here before it gets, announced on the. So I don't know how we police that, but we got to make sure that we're all reacting together, because that's the whole point of it.
Maybe we put them all in a room and Robert Saleh their asses and take all their cell phones. Maybe we do that.
Everyone's got to turn it off. We get one of those little things you get at work that shut off cell signal.
Yeah, they do it. When I went to the Comedy Store, they put our phones in bags. Like I haven't been there in many years, right? So I went back. And when you go in now, I guess people are on. It was a problem. I guess people are on their phones, and they take it and they put it in a bag. They zip it up and they seal it, and you can't open it until you leave. And I like that. So maybe we'll do that, and then we got to find out who the leak is. If anybody knows anything, who's the leak? And then we'll fire you like Rex Hogan. We'll fucking belt loop you to the door.
It's gonna be Jeremy.
I know.
Yeah. God damn it. If it's Jeremy, I'm giving us the green light to crack eggs on Egghead's head. I think that's what has to happen. Sorry.
You got to show the new Egghead logo.
He's got a new Egghead logo?
Yeah, Dano's in our chat. Hit it. Yeah,
in our chat.
It was tweeted out also. I could send you the link because it.
I want to see it. I saw we swapped out his logo originally, but that's not the new logo, I guess.
No,
there's a newer one.
It's 10 times better. Please hold.
Oh,
yeah,
this is
the one.
All right, it's in the private chat.
Dano is in the chat, by the way, and he is the master behind it. There's no words. You just have to see it.
Oh my God. Okay. We're going to show this right now.
Is that not Jeremy?
Oh,
come on, everybody.
Hey, that's incredible.
Oh,
Jeremy, we love you.
Yeah, it's the best. Fucking Egghead.
That's ridiculous. Dano, you're absurd. I love it. Dano won our putter at the draft party last year. So we got to decide what we want to give away. If we want to do a putter, maybe we do something different this year. But last year we got his name etched into it, and I think it says JETS on it as well, like custom green spider putter. Very, very cool. Very neat.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Nice. Hey, I want to make mention our old buddy Frankie from Flatbush is in the chat, everybody.
Hey.
Oh, hell yeah. What's up, Frankie?
Yeah.
What up, Frankie?
Good to see Frankie hanging around these days. I guess the draft. He can't help him. Yeah, he's fucking fired up, man. I love fired up Frankie.
Boys and girls, make sure you hit that like button on the way in. If you want to get into our jersey, t-shirt, mug, pillow, hat giveaway at the end of this show, all you got to do is hit that like button. Every 25 likes we get on this video, we're going to pick a t-shirt qualifier at the end of during the show, and then we'll pick someone at the end of the show to win the prize. And then if you're watching after the fact, all you got to do is leave a timestamp comment down below of your favorite moments, and you'll be entered into next week's giveaway as well. And we got a whole lot to talk about tonight. We can kind of leave it as an open panel, thoughts and discussions of what you guys want to talk about in the chat. If you have particular players you want us to discuss, things of that nature. Let's go through a few of the super chats real quick. And then I want to go back to some real world stuff that happened because I panicked the heck out of Friday. And I want to hear your guys' reactions on it too. Crossfire says, let's go. Thank you so much, Crossfire, for the 20 spot. He also drops in 10 Talkin Jets memberships. I know it looks like 5 because I put 2 of them up, but it's 5 and 5. Thank you so much, Crossfire. You are a gentleman and a scholar. Indeed. Matthew Zucker, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, let's go, boys. Draft in a couple of weeks. Game days and times in about a month. Home playoff game in 8 months. And Matt Isles up 3-0 in the first. JETS.
Let's go. LGI, baby.
Wow.
City Bird. Zitybird comes in and says, are we getting or drafting a quarterback? Zach is QB3, and it's possible we still get some starts with him since A-Rod is old and Tyrod is injury prone. There is no way, in my opinion, that Zach Wilson will be on the opening day roster of this team. I am of the opinion that I think the Jets should hold on to him until they can get a trade they deem fair. I don't think they should cut him until the last possible moment if they're going to make that decision. I would rather wait till an injury happens and someone's like, now we got to make a move for Zach. We'll throw a late round pick, whatever it is. I like the idea that Green Bean had brought up I don't know if it's 2 or 3 weeks ago now, of if we trade down with, say, like the Broncos or something along those lines, some part of that package that is dealt with is Zach Wilson going over there. I think that is the most logical outcome. I don't think Zach plans to be here if he's putting his house on the market, and I don't think the Jets necessarily want to have quarterback 3 be a guy that's going to have his contract run out anyway at the end of the season. I think we are going to draft a quarterback. I think it's probably going to be around the 4th round if I had to guess. So no, I do not think Zach takes another snap, regardless of how old A-Rod is and how injury-prone Tyrod is. Matt, I'll throw it to you first.
Yeah, it's over. I don't know what else to possibly say. Like, I don't know how many times we could play this game of, well, this or that. Like, I feel bad that it's been 3 years and it hasn't worked. He was supposed to sit this year. Jets effed it up, but he's going into the last year of his deal. As you said, he's not getting a second contract with the New York Jets. I think it's better for all parties to just move on at this point. And, I don't have a ton of faith in him being able to revive his career somewhere else. I think, him not being traded kind of speaks, at least for right now, kind of speaks to how the league feels about him. It's just the unfortunate reality. And I think eventually you might have to cut him, but like, it's okay to swallow your pride and admit your mistake. You don't need to quadruple down on it at this point.
Green Bean, what about you? What do you think about Zach Wilson and the potential of him maybe being on the opening day roster?
I will tell you, I don't want to cut him. I don't. It's like, I think that, what's going to happen? Here's what's going to happen. Joe Douglas is going to hold on to him. And if that draft day trade doesn't happen, which I think would be great, if we could just kind of, tack him on to a draft day trade, it bumps it up a little bit and, whatever it might be. And it just kind of cleans out some cap and Zach goes somewhere with, in that situation, it would be really, I think, advantageous for him because Peyton is a bona fide coach. You know what I mean? Offensive mind and respected and all that. I think it would be a good situation for Zach Wilson. But if that doesn't happen, I say you still hold on to him. And in training camp, when the invariable injuries start to happen, even if it's just to like quarterback 2 or whatever, somebody blows their knee out or whatever, Joe Douglas is going to get better than. No, I'm not talking about a 1st round pick, but he's going to get better than Mac Jones and Justin Fields and all those guys who got traded for a 6th and had to give a 7th. So it's like Mac Jones in a 7th for a 6th kind of a thing, whatever that was. Joe Douglas is going to get a straight up 5th for Zach Wilson, and he will once again rule the day with the trade market. I think that's the way to do it. Just sit tight. Patience is a virtue. Just wait it out. Somebody's going to go down. I don't wish that on anybody, of course, but it happens every year. And let Zach be the top dog. Even the Wentzes and Flaccos and all those guys are already signed. There's nobody out there, man. You want Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I do want someone to get hurt. I don't know who it is, but I want someone going down. I think it's going to happen. And then hopefully Zach winds up getting traded because I agree. I think we will get better value for him than what we are currently looking to potentially get now. A move at this point would purely be to say, oh, we're clearing the air. We're hitting that reset. We don't want the overshadowing of training camp or whatever. Hopefully it happens during the draft and we can just be done with this. That would be kind of nice. �'𝐿𝐫𝐞𝐿 comes in, says, Isles winning, Talkin Jets on. So hard right now. There you go, �'𝐿𝐫𝐞𝐿.
How do you get in my head?
I love it. I love it. Crossfire says, this is strictly for Green Bean's beard, Matt's headphones, and the mic, and also Ryan's glasses. Thank you. That's greatly appreciated, Crossfire. Good man. Jason comes in, says, the Zach ship officially sailed the game against the Chargers. Can't wait for the draft and next week's jersey reveal. Yeah, that's right. We get our jerseys. They're saying the 15th. I think we're going to find out on like Thursday or Friday. There's going to be some type of leak. Someone's going to, drop the ball. And we're not actually going to find out on the day they want us to find out. I think I'm excited, though. Looking forward to it. We did get to see the Jets draft hat. The Fanatics accidentally leaked that on the team website, I believe.
Whoops.
But very, very excited. Matt, what are your thoughts on the jersey reveal?
Yeah, I am excited for this jersey reveal. It's a long time coming. I hate that the Jets are dragging it out and just like, for whatever reason, refuse to announce what day they're going to release it. I don't know why, but it's going to be nice. I am looking forward to it. The last jersey reveal did not go that great, and the 5 years after did not go so good either. So, it's kind of a deep cleanse right now.
That last jersey reveal was so cringy. It was so bad. The stage with Jamal Adams, go back. Literally everyone on that entire stage was like gone within, I think, 2 years of the jersey release. It was absolutely
JB
nuts.
Smooth.
Yup.
I like JB Smooth well enough, but it was just so cringy. Everything about it sucked. Jamal Adams showing the play. They had the camera like inside the box or whatever when they opened the box for the first time. Jamal Adams is almost incapable of like pretending about what his feelings are. He's a child, so he can't do that. And he was like trying so hard to be like, this is great, but you could see it all over his face. This is some lame ass shit. And it was just terrible, man. You know what the delay is, Matt? They've decided last minute, you know what? White helmet is the way to go.
I knew it. I knew he was going to say that.
I know you know, because I don't shut up.
Didn't we just see the green logo was coming back? So that would imply white helmet, I would think.
Well, yeah, that's interesting because the old logo was always white.
Mm-hmm.
It was always white. So that would be really neat, man. If dude, see, look, you know what? I said this on my podcast this week. If the Jets have given me anything, they've given me an incredible lesson on like accepting, like of not getting everything I want. You know what I mean? Like the Jets are always like, it's like the best I can get. They didn't take the guy I want, but this is the right position, or he's not the position. He's a good player. I know. Like it's never like nailed down. Like I want this guy in this spot, and they do it. Like it's just so incredibly rare. So even right now, like I'm very happy to go back to that old word mark. Best one we've ever had. As far as just the word mark itself, it's the sleekest. It's got a jet on it. It's cool, man. It looks good. But I know I'm not going to get the green helmet. But if they did drop that bomb on us, that the helmet's white and then a black alternate or whatever, or even green for that matter, I would lose my shit. That would finally make me happy because it's exactly what I want. Think about the all whites with a white helmet, dude.
Oh,
come on.
It's
right?
so nice.
Yeah, now we're cooking.
Yeah, I was going to say, are they able, like, so black's going to be our alternate, and right now it's the white, like, on the side. If they were to go to a white helmet, green logo, can they do a different color jet logo, or is that, like, something weird that, like, you wouldn't be able to do? Because obviously it was white on the green helmet, white on the black helmet. I don't know. I don't actually know. Like, would we have to go green on the black helmet then? I feel like you wouldn't see it as much.
Yes. Green. Well, they did green on the black helmet last year. Or was it white?
I thought it was white. Maybe
No,
I'm wrong.
it was the same logo. It was the green.
Yeah. No, the helmet was no. We're saying the black helmet with the logo
was it white?
I think it was white.
Hold on.
Am I going crazy here?
See if the chat's letting us know.
No, it's
they
green,
did green on a black helmet. Oh, okay.
It had the white outline.
That's what it was. Okay. I'm an idiot. Sorry.
That's exactly.
Bad jet content creator.
Yeah, Ryan, it was very hard to remember. I couldn't remember either, even though I was right.
I see some people saying, it's just Dave, I guess. Black is a horrible color for this team. I wish it wasn't black. I wish it was like a fighter jet gray.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a cool colorway.
That would be neat. But I don't hate the black, you know?
No.
The black, Black is tough, dude. Like I got into this whole debate. You know what it was? I think it was might have been. Remember, you know, Warfish on Jet Nation, Ryan.
Sure, I do.
Yeah, you're right. I believe it was him I was arguing with about this. That somebody's tough or they're not. It doesn't matter if they're wearing black. And I said, I hear you. I don't disagree. Like in the real world, if a guy goes, you have to fucking walk around with a fucking black Stetson hat on, you don't have to do that. I'm tough. And you have your spurs as you walk. You don't need that to be tough. But there's a reason why every villain and black is except in Batman, black is notoriously like it's a tough. It could be villainous, but it's like it's a mean color. So why not 2 games a year with black? I agree if they went with like some sort of gunmetal, gray, something like that, that would be neat. And I would prefer that, but I don't hate the black. Some people hate it. Like it's terrible. Like even that, like it's terrible. I don't know if it's terrible. I think it's sharp, man. I think it looks neat. I'm a fan.
Oreo comes in, says, any players you wish we would have kept, like Hardy. So I really like Hardy. I understand why the Jets decided to let him go. I think Isaiah Oliver is supposed to be a 2-bird, 1-stone type player where he kind of fulfills the Javelin Guidry backup slot role and the gunner role on special teams at the same time, and you save a roster spot by doing that. And for a team that wants to have an extra offensive lineman, if the thought is, hey, we're going to carry 3 quarterbacks this year because we're going to draft one and we're maybe not able to IR this particular player or stash him on the practice squad, then you need to find that extra roster spot somewhere, and it makes sense for it to be a special team / backup slot guy. That's my opinion on it. As far as any other players I wish we kept, I wish we had kept Huff, but getting Reddick for the price that we're getting him for and 2 years of back-to-back, what I think are going to be back-to-back. I don't think we're going to extend him. I think it's going to be a 1-year deal this year, a franchise tag for another year next year. So he's going to have to play as good as possible each of these next 2 years to get the contract that he's hoping to get after that. I think that's better than paying Huff for where we hope he's going to project to go, even though I obviously wish we had held on to him. But I think getting Reddick kind of lessened the blow of Huff for me. So I don't know if there's a player that I'm really like bummed about. Jefferson to some degree, because that was a weird, funky situation of like, oh, we didn't answer our text back. Were you trying to FaceTime him and he was sitting at Aaron Rodgers' house and you weren't able to FaceTime? I don't know. Matt, what do you think? Any players you wish we had held on to?
Randall Cobb.
Definitely. I was going to say
he didn't sign anywhere, right? Like, I'm not crazy on this.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Okay.
As you said, the Huff blow is lessened by the Hassan Reddick trade. So I don't want to use that one, even though, yes, like Bryce Huff was someone that I really wanted the Jets to keep. But to go a different direction than the Hardy, I think Jefferson on the line is the answer there, because maybe it works with Javon Kinlaw. Like he was healthy last year and he had his best season, but if you ask me about like just their body of work in general and who I would trust more, I think it would be Quentin Jefferson over Javon Kinlaw, even though, former 1st-round pick, really athletic, like all that stuff. I get it, but my preference would have been Quentin Jefferson of the 2.
Green Bean, what about you? Anyone you wish we would have held on to?
Well, I was going to say Brett Rippon, but I feel like everybody's going to say that one. So I'm going to say Bryce Hall, everybody. That's the guy I didn't want to lose. I wanted to see Bryce Hall, but I just know he's not going to. He's a starter in the NFL, or should at least get the opportunity to prove that he is, right? I think he's earned that. So it makes a bunch of sense. But man, I would have loved to see the Jets choose him over Brandon Echols. I know Brandon Echols is cheap on a contract, and they prefer him. I mean, that's been made very, very clear. For whatever the specific reason is, they like Brandon Echols. So, but me personally, I think Bryce Hall is a better cornerback than Brandon Echols, a more versatile quarterback than Brandon Echols, and I would have preferred that they keep him. So that one hurts a little bit for me, but I'm rooting for him for now. As soon as he makes one pick, I'm going to go, that guy's a piece of garbage. So for now, though, I wish he was a Jet.
Hype dropping a super chat. Thank you so much. He says swap firsts and JFM with Atlanta and the Jets 7th for Atlanta's 6th. So that would be a really interesting way to leapfrog the Bears and almost guarantee you get wide receiver 3 in this draft. Hype brought this up last night. I don't know if it was during the draft show with Dom or my call-in show after that. And we were kind of going back and forth. We're like, wait, was Raheem Morris the defensive coordinator in LA when JFM was there? And we started going back into it. It was not the case. They did not overlap there. But Atlanta wanting to revitalize that defense, getting a really good versatile piece in JFM to fall back 2 picks, if they like maybe 2 defensive players in this draft, because I think there's a real good shot the Bears take a defensive player, whether it's Verse or Dallas Turner. As long as Atlanta's fine with getting one of those 2 guys, then I think that would make a ton of sense for them. They could extend JFM, and now you've added 2 good defensive players on your team for not a terrible price here. With JFM, I don't think he's on this roster for his current cap hit right now. He's either going to restructure or we are going to release him probably post June 1st. So I would love to see him utilized in a maneuver to get us higher in the draft, whether that's 1st round or 3rd coming into the 2nd or something along those lines. Matt, have you given any thought to maybe moving JFM for a draft pick in this year's draft?
This is the DJ Reed conversation all over again. We just did this a few weeks ago.
But Reed makes, like, I feel like Reed is more critical to our team as opposed to JFM, like, because of the depth on the D-line versus, like, Reed is like the full-on starter opposite sauce. I think we can afford to maybe lose a JFM when maybe we might not be able to lose a DJ Reed. I think it would have a bigger impact on losing Reed.
I don't think this defense can afford to lose either of those guys. I think JFM's going to be on the roster the next 2 years in this win-now window with Aaron Rodgers. I would rather give up the lottery ticket than the very good defensive player in a window where you're really trying to go for it. So I'm not interested in giving up John Franklin Myers to bump up a couple of spots. If you have to give up a 2nd round pick next year, I'd rather give up that 2nd round pick next year because you have no idea what that pick's going to be. But you know what JFM is going to be for you.
Green Bean, would you consider moving JFM to get a draft pick or get a better draft pick in conjunction with, a pick from one of the other rounds?
Well, in this exact scenario, my favorite part is that we trade a 7th for a 6th. That's the goods. That's what I like here, Hype. I'm not even. Truth is, I'm almost not kidding. But I'm like, okay, all right, that makes sense. Yeah, I would be willing to. You dump the contract and then you just, you use your, that 6th round, 4th to 6th. I would say 6th round, and you go defensive tackle there. I like I've said a million times. I mean, I'm a big believer that you can. I think our defensive ends, it's crowded, right? You got Reddick, you got JJ, you got Will McDonald, you got Michael Clemens, who, by the way, I think should be defensive end, not defensive tackle. We tried the experiment last year. We saw him. He still played defensive end, but we saw the whole weight gain for defensive tackle. I think he should be slimming down at least some portion of that weight to get back to the effective level that he was the year before. Yeah, just kind of get back. I don't think he's ever going to be a premier pass rusher or anything like that, but he did play a very, very nice role. But anyway, anywho, I like JFM on the inside, and I think I like JFM plenty. Don't get me wrong, but I think he can be replaced. And like you said, Ryan, that money being kind of reallocated to a DJ Reed makes so, like, if I had to choose, I'm choosing DJ Reed every day of the week. Not that I don't agree with Matt that I don't want to lose JFM, but if you have the opportunity, if you're eyeballing, let's say Alt is your guy or Neighbors is your guy, and they're there, you know what I mean? And you want to do that, and all you're going to lose is JFM, and on top of it, for a little bit of gravy on your pot roast, you get one of your 7ths turns into a 6th. I say you do it all day, because you can use that 6 on Justin Rogers, and he's going to plug that middle and give you what you want. Your defensive end room is fine. So yeah, I would consider it, but it wouldn't be something that I'm trying to do. But if that's what'll get it done, sure thing, man. I'm all about it.
Oreo asking, any of you guys like the gold alternate uniforms? He likes them. I will say no, I do not like the Titans jerseys, and it's mainly because I view the Jets as the Jets. I don't know. The Titans, for me, it doesn't hit home. The navy and gold, It's not a bad colorway. Growing up, it didn't make any sense to me why that was such like a drastic change, but I don't know. I don't particularly like the Titans uniforms. Matt, what are your thoughts on the Titans uniforms?
I liked them at the time, but I kind of want those to stick with that like 2008 to 2010 era Jets and kind of just like let that live in that like era. I'm not necessarily looking to revive that. I am much more excited about the 80s, 90s revival with the logo, the legacy logo that they're going back to. It's, it kind of is what it is. If they're going to have an alternate, if they could find a way to do the like 98 to 2018 jerseys the right way. I just never liked those uniforms after they went to Nike in 2012. Like the Reebok ones just looked so much better. I don't know why. Just the Nike ones just never looked right to me. If they could get that as an alternate, I'd be more interested in that than doing the blue and yellow.
Oh yeah. All day. I'll tell you what, number one, I don't like the gold. I don't like gold anything. And it probably comes from, I chose to wear a gold tie at my wedding and I regretted it. I've regretted it every day since. I got married in 2008. I think about that fucking tie all the time. I'm like, I don't wear a gold tie. What the hell? So anyway, I don't know. I'm looking at the uniforms now. I don't like it. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm a believer in team colors. Remember, like, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever it was, all of a sudden, maybe it was like 20 years ago, all of a sudden, there would be all these Yankee hats in like green and red, and it says Yankees. Like all the different colors because people want to match it to their outfit or whatever. I'm adamantly against that. I think, hey, you want to wear red, then you like a red team. Like, or don't wear a hat. Like that's just how I see it. Like a baseball cap or, whatever for your team. It's got to be team colors. If it's got to be one variation of it, or it can be a base color. Like let's say you're a Niners fan and it's white or not. You know what I mean? Black or white is always cool because then you can have your logo on it because it's a base color. But I agree with Matt. I didn't like the, and I hope you're talking about the box, Matt. Wasn't that the Nike? It had like the weird box thing here, right?
Yeah,
what was that?
I don't know. It just looked off. It was like
it was like a shield or something. It was weird. I didn't like that either. So I've been saying for a long time that while we wore the white, that jersey, and we would go to our alternates, it would be Titans. Like, why aren't we going back to the 80s, 90s? That should be our alternate. I don't understand, or the classic jersey. I never understood the Titan thing. I don't like blue on the Jets. I know there are people. Remember on April Fools, the Jets just put that in their avatar and everybody went nuts. Like first of all, nobody remembers that it's April Fools, every April Fools, which blows my doors off. But the idea that people were like, hell yeah, this is what I can't even imagine rooting for the Jets to change their colors to blue and yellow. It doesn't compute to me. So I wish that the Titan uniform would go away forever. And that if we have an alternate now, it's to those 68 to 2010 kind of era, jersey. Well, like Matt said, to 98, really. The Reebok.
Do the Ravens ever wear like the Browns' old jerseys or anything like that? Like it would be just as weird, I feel like.
Yeah, right. It's a different team, different owner. It was Harry Wismer. Owned the Titans. You remember why he named the team the Titans? Remember, it started all the way back then, everybody. This is how stupid the Jets. They said, why'd you name the team the Titans? They're the Giants already in New York. He said, I named the team the Titans because Titans are bigger than Giants. That's what he said.
It's so petty. I guess it's not billionaires fighting over it, but it's just like,
yeah, right. But the billionaire
measuring contest
of the day, right? But it's like, I mean, that just shows like that's the level of thought we have. Like, no, you can't find. I'd rather be the New Jersey Goldfinches than the Titans because they're bigger than the Giants. Doesn't make sense. I mean, it makes sense, but it's so silly. It's so dumb. But anyway, I just I wish the Titan jersey would go away. If we're gonna have that classic, throwback, I guess we call it, I would like to see those. Even if they just pulled out the Rex Ryan, any variation of that jersey, that uniform, I should say, is okay with me.
That would be really cool. I would love to see that jersey come back as the alternate. I think that would be a lot of fun. Or not the alternate, but the throwback jersey that you see once a year. Do we have a different Color Rush uniform too then? Like, do they still do the Color Rush?
They better not. I hated that.
That was green. Ugly as hell.
Yeah, that stunk. Not a fan.
Oreo comes in and says, I'm going to need to see a wedding pic, Green Bean.
I'll show you a wedding pic. I had a ponytail too, dude.
No way. You were
oh, hell yeah. Oh, for a long
Andrew
time.
Yale comes in. Thank you for the super chat. Says, how many primetime games? San Francisco, Buffalo, who else? We talked about this last week a little bit. I think the Jets are going to end up with 5 standalone games. I think one is going to be a London game that's at 9 a.m. I think one is going to be the Black Friday game, which I think was a 3 o'clock kickoff, if I remember correctly. Is that right? So then I think we have 3 other primetime games. I could see a rematch with Buffalo potentially. I could see. I'm trying to think who we're playing next year. Is it the South? Do we play the Texans next year? I think we do. I know we play the Titans.
Yeah. Wait. Let me see.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be 5 standalone games. I'm going to say 3 primetime though. I don't think the NFL wants to get screwed the same way they got screwed this past year with Rodgers. Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah, they'll play more than what we're used to, but I don't think it's going to be as many as what we saw last year. I'll say like 3 or 4 primetime games for the Jets.
Green Bean, what do you think? How many primetime games the Jets get?
I do agree that we're going to see the London game, which, by the way, are we going to go or what?
So I did re-up my passport. We got Ren a passport. Becca and Shay's passports are both good. So we are prepared in the event it does happen or when it does happen. I really wanted to do the Tennessee game pending weather, like what time of year that is. I feel like Nashville would be a lot of fun, and it's probably just a little bit easier with 2 really young kids. There's some logistical hurdles I'd have to try and figure out with London, but I mean, when's the next time we're going to see a really good Jet team in London? I feel like with Aaron Rodgers would be something special as well.
Yeah, and we'll play the Jaguars or something because we're playing them this year.
Yeah, it's the Jags or Minnesota. It's one of those two. I could see if Zach goes to Minnesota for some stupid reason, it's going to be Jets versus Zach Wilson in London. Like, that's what it's going to be.
Dude, can you imagine? I mean, look, I got to shake this "the world is designed to hurt us" thing. It's hard to do. But if Sam Darnold is the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings and we're playing them in London, I'm not going. Just telling you right now, man. I
don't need to fly 1,000 whatever miles to across the pond to watch the Jets lose to our former quarterback. I don't need to see that. That's what would happen if I flew all the way out there.
Yeah, I know. But I'll tell you what, I do want to go. I would probably make a whole vacation out of it. I wouldn't just go for like, the weekend. I would go to like a couple theme parks. I'd go to Abbey Road. I'll go to the Tower of London. All that kind of stuff. If you go, man, we'll do a whole thing.
Yeah, for sure. That's what we were kind of talking about, because when we had Ren last summer, we were supposed to go to Ireland the week we actually had Ren. We wound up getting pregnant with Ren like 4 months after we booked the tickets to go to Ireland, so we weren't able to actually go. So this would kind of be our chance to go across the pond, because I've never been like overseas. I've been to Canada, I've been to Mexico, but that's the extent of my international travel.
Huh. Yeah, Matt, you gonna go?
I might. I've never left the country. That'd be my first time leaving the country if I did. So, I will definitely think about it. That sounds like it'd be a really fun trip. Talkin Jets takes over across the pond, baby.
Hell yeah!
That would
that'd be so good.
Incredible. I want to meet all our UK fans too that are out there.
Totally.
Like there's so many Jet fans that we get, that call into the shows, and we wind up knowing them, by username. But it would be cool to put a face to the name as well.
Yeah.
Peter.
Phil Adams lives right next to Alton Towers, which is like one of my bucket list theme parks to go to. Lives in the same town.
That's cool.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I told Phil he's going to get on a roller coaster. He said, what do you say? He hasn't been to Alton Towers since 1971 when he got caught stealing a seal.
What? Like
That's what
a
he
seal
said.
to a door, or like the
No,
animal?
like a seal. Like,
Like a stuffed
70s.
seal, or like a live, like arf
Nope.
arf kind of seal?
From
Like a sea
the way
puppy.
I understood it, it was a live or bounce the ball in their nose seal.
It's like Peter Griffin not being allowed back at SeaWorld, that kind of a thing. Way to go.
Yeah. Something like that.
Peter S. comes in with a super chat, says, since safety is still a need, take Tyler Nubin, Jaden Hicks, Cole Bishop, or want someone else, depending upon other needs already being met. So I do like the idea of drafting a safety and having the cheap contract. It's clear to me that over the last bunch of years, the Jets regime, Joe Douglas, Saleh, whoever it is, they don't really believe in having a high investment in that position. And I feel like going with the 4-year cheap contract makes a whole heck of a lot of sense. I'm looking at Dom C's list of players that we have met with, and Jaden Hicks is on there. We met with him in a private workout and at the Senior Bowl. And we met with Evan Williams at his pro day and at the Senior Bowl. And those are the only 2 safeties that we have met with. Now, maybe there's some cornerbacks in here that might be able to transition to safety or something along those lines that I'm just not taking into account. But those are the only 2 safeties that I'm aware of that the Jets have met with currently. But I would like to draft a safety at some point. I just don't know when that is. It might be, you could probably, if you trade down from 10, I would go as early as the 3rd round. I could get on board with that if you fell in love with someone. But without having that 2nd round pick, I feel like 4th round at the earliest is what I would consider safety. Matt, I'll throw it to you first, then Green Bean.
Yeah, so I had someone say they sent me a message. They said, I found the Ashton Davis replacement. And what they did was they sent me Cooper DeJean. And I said, you want to spend the 1st round pick on a safety? I'm not quite there. Although I think he's a really fun prospect. He had a great RAS score and like really, really athletic. But a safety that I like is Cole Bishop out of Utah. Probably fits, I would say most likely 4th round. So kind of fits that role with what you were just saying there. I think the Jets need a 3rd safety. I don't think they necessarily need a starting caliber safety. So I don't want to use a 1st or 2nd round in a trade back on that position.
Green Bean, what about you? How do you feel about safety, and should the Jets add one? I guess either via free agency or the draft. What are your feelings on it?
I don't think, we could be proven wrong, right? But I don't think that the Jets have the money that they're like the guys that are out there, whether it be Diggs. Is Quandre Diggs still out there? I believe
he
right?
is.
Simmons, whoever. I don't think that they're going to be willing to pay the money that it costs to get one of those guys. Now, when you look at the Jets depth chart, there's one clear hole on the defense, and it is at safety. Tony Adams, while penciled in starter, he's fine. Maybe he's going to continue to get better and all that, but he can totally be upgraded and at minimum should have legitimate competition at the position. If he wins, it's great. And then Chuck Clark, while we're all high on him, and if he plays great, is a question mark, right? And then we have no one behind them. We have Jarek Bernard-Converse, who's a cornerback converted to safety. We have no idea what he is. Nothing. We do not know what he's going to be. So it is the hole on defense outside of, one defensive line rotation. That's it, man. Our defense is stacked. And so I think that they're going to use a draft pick. I think it might be a little higher than people are thinking. It could be, especially if we trade back and we pick up a 2nd or another 3rd, I would not be surprised to see them use a 3rd on a safety. The people seem to forget, though, Joe Douglas doesn't use a lot of picks on safety, right? But he does convert people to safety in the 4th, 5th round, right? Pinnock was a 4th, I believe. And then he took Ashton Davis in the 3rd. So it's not like he won't do it. He's not, so he's done it before. It's the hole on the team. I think this is what I really want to see happen. I think 𝐀𝐮𝐫𝐿 is the most exciting player in that range at safety. His RAS score was abysmal. His 40 time was 4.85. I mean, it was brutal, right? But the guy is a baller. He's a ball hawk. And I think that's what this defense is like missing. That safety that can just fucking find nose for the ball, find the angle, pluck it out of the air, like that kind of a thing. He had 11 picks in the last 2 years or whatever it was. So somebody like that. Now, if we're gonna wait a little bit, 4th round, maybe even in the 3rd, Cole Bishop, Jaden Hicks that was mentioned. Fantastic additions. I would be happy with that. But I think people might be surprised with how early the Jets go safety. I think they're going to want someone who's not a project, somebody that they think can at least come in and compete with Tony Adams or be a viable backup potential starter should Chuck Clark, his run of Jets luck continues. I think they're going to want somebody that they feel comfortable actually starting as opposed to somebody they're putting on the back burner to work on for a little while.
One thing we can keep an eye out for too, and maybe I'm mistaken in this, but because we are the 10th overall pick heading into the season, we should have the 10th claim on the waiver wire. It doesn't reset with preseason or anything, does it? It's
no.
Up until week 1, so we will be 10th on the waiver wire. So there's going to be some good teams that let some players go on cutdown day, and the Jets are uniquely in an interesting position to be able to pick up some of those guys early on compared to some of the playoff teams that are going to be sitting behind us. So I think that's another potential outlet that we could go. But I agree. I think 3rd round is entirely possible if we slide back in the 1st or find a way to get another 3rd round pick. Gangrene comes in with super chat, says, food in England sucks. Fun trip otherwise. Yeah, I've never heard great things, I guess, about the food over there. It's like all like beef and potatoes, I guess. It's like some variation.
You got to know where you are. You got to get what you don't go to Japan and order cheeseburgers. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like you go to London, you get fish and chips. Now, I haven't been to London in many years, but you get fish and chips. I don't even like fish, but I like fish and chips in London. To explain it away, I don't know how. But they serve it in the newspaper. They just give you a slice of newspaper. They wrap it up. You dump vinegar all over your fries, and it's an amazing experience. You get shepherd's pie and you get stew. Go there and you get, you two bastards. You get beef stew. Pot roast. That's what you get in London.
Hype says, I remember Bean had the international streams. Yeah, Bean used to do the international streams.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. That was Jets Worldwide. I stopped doing that because you want to know what was it? I think it was that no one watched them. I think that's what it was.
There's got to be some degree of interest to warrant putting the time and energy into making a content.
They were fun, though. We interviewed lots of guys from around the world. We had like New Zealand, we had Australia, we had Ireland, a couple England. I think there was a Brazil. So real cool, man. Yeah, neat, but didn't work. Nobody cared.
I was curious. I wanted to go back and look. So I went back on your channel and checked on like your oldest live streams. One of your oldest streams, the title of this stream is all capitals, Adam Gase fired, chat, let's make out and stuff.
That was because it was high
SEO.
That's right. Make out was coming in really high with an SEO score, I guess. I don't know.
That's amazing.
That's hilarious. I can't even imagine doing something like that.
Jose comes in, says, I was just in Nashville. It was awesome. I will definitely be there for the Jets game. If there's one game I want to go to in the States for sure, it's Nashville. And if I could find a way to swing both that and London, it would be awesome. I don't know if that's realistic or not, but I completely agree with you, Jose. Blitz Crew dropping in with a super chat says, sounds like if you are looking for big playability, need to just re-sign Ashton Davis. Thought Jared Bernard-Converse was a safety in college, all but his last year. I forget what they listed him as initially. He was like, I think he was playing safety and they showed him like his position as a corner. The same way like they listed Will McDonald as a linebacker instead of like an edge rusher. look, I agree. I think Ashton Davis, I want him back. I feel like it makes the most sense for both sides, and I think the Jets are probably hoping they get him back. If they don't have him back by the draft, though, I think you have to at least pivot and consider safety. Like Green Bean said, possibly the third round if you have that extra pick there. Green Bean, what are your thoughts on Ashton Davis, and do you think he ultimately comes back?
Well, I will say I thought that they would have re-signed him already. I think that they should. I mean, dude, the guy, it's like it's one of those guys that you kind of weather all the rough times, and he seems to be coming into his own, and you're like, we don't need him. And he goes somewhere and kind of has a solid career. Like we did that with James Farrier, who was fine with us, but he was really good with the Steelers. You know what I mean? He was about to come into his own, and we just let him go and all that. Who's the other one? Demario Davis. He was fine for a couple years with us, and then he goes to the Browns, I believe it was. We trade for him back. He has his best year in his career, and we don't even try to re-sign him. He said openly, thought I was going to re-sign with the Jets. They just didn't show any interest. And he goes and he becomes an all-pro. You know what I mean? So Jonathan Goodwin, there's lots of guys out there. So I think Ashton Davis falls in that category. I think he's right about ready to have himself a real career. Now, that said, I thought he would be re-signed somewhere, but if not with us. So the fact that he's not, maybe that leads to the idea that we may bring him back. I think if we can, we should. But it's weird. It's a weird one. I honestly thought he'd be re-signed already.
Matt, what are your thoughts on Ashton Davis?
Yeah. So, by the way, I was curious. So I went back and looked at Bernard Converse's snaps over his career. Another Joe Douglas trend. He loves the day 3 guys who were in college forever, because Jared Bernard Converse was a freshman in 2018.
Whoa.
And yeah, it was so 18, 19, 20, 21, 20. Yeah. 5 years in college. He played mostly slot corner in 2018, and then 112 snaps at free safety. And then 2019 was 445 snaps at slot corner and 209 at free safety. And then his final couple years were mostly outside. But earlier in his career, his first two, about a half decade ago, he was playing slot corner and free safety. But Blitzker brings up a good point with the big playability in Ashton Davis. Like, he kind of carved out that nice little role for himself as a special teamer and someone who just finds the football. Even earlier in his career, his first 3 years in the league, he took some, how do I say this nicely, very questionable pursuit angles in both coverage and tackling in the run game. But that kind of went away his 4th year, and the turnovers stayed. So maybe the football IQ is finally catching up to his athleticism, because no one could ever deny it. Like, his athletic ability was off the charts. That's why he was drafted in the 3rd round. But it seemed to have taken him a little bit to learn the position. And I would like to bring him back. I don't know if he does come back. I think he's probably looking to start somewhere. But if the market doesn't materialize for him, bring him back.
I feel like he might be an interesting player to have on special teams, particularly on the kickoff, not necessarily returning the kicks, but could be one of those like guys just in front of whoever's returning. And if you wanted to get some trickery involved, I feel like he's a fun asset to have there. I like Ashton Davis a lot. I very much want to bring him back. Crossfire comes in with a super chat. Thank you so much. Says, for a country that took over others with spices, the British don't know how to use them, only know how to trade it. I saw something the other day. I was like, congratulations, Britain. You are single-handedly responsible for the most Independence Days around the world.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like, that makes me chuckle.
They were basically only looking for pepper, though. That's all they wanted was pepper. Peppercorns. That's all they were really looking for. Crossfire. So there you go. But he's got a point, man. Bland, bland, bland.
Guys, if you don't know already, you should totally head over to the description down below. The Talkin Jets channel is sponsored by Aura. If you guys don't know what Aura is, digital security is of the utmost importance. You might know someone that's maybe getting up there in years, might be, clicking on things they're not supposed to, or might be, doing things they're not supposed to. Having Aura locks down your passwords, locks down your private information. It's a VPN as well. If you use our promo code Talkin Jets down in the description down below, you'll get a 14-day free trial. Goes a long way towards helping us out for sure. And I've had it on our Talkin Jets show email, my own email, just to give it a test run. And they have pulled me off so many email lists. It is absurd. The amount of times that I've had spam come into my inbox that is just absolutely littering and cluttering up my inbox. And then to see like, oh, you have been pulled off this list. I think I have 2 right now that are pending, and they'll just keep requesting that you are removed from these lists like on a consistent basis. And it cleans everything up. I've really enjoyed it a lot. If you guys want to help out the channel, support the sponsors of the show. Aura, thank you so much for sponsoring the channel.
Yeah, I don't get the spam phone calls nearly as much as what I did. Like that, I think is the most impressive part for me when I signed up. Like the email inbox being clean is really nice, but like, I guess I just became so numb to those spam calls. I'd be like, they just leave my phone on mute anyway. But after a while, after a few weeks, I'm like, I don't get those calls like at all anymore. This is so nice.
It has been such a breath of fresh air. I can't tell you how much it has helped just my mental state. Not like, I feel like I get frustrated when I open up my email and I got to click through every email and say unsubscribe. Now, if there's things you have signed up for, of course that's going to happen, but getting your data sold and having it peppered with all these, ridiculous BS things, drove me up a wall. So Aura, thank you so much for supporting us here. I mentioned it earlier in the show, and I thought I was going to get back to it relatively quickly. It wound up not. We're in the second hour of the show now. Where were you guys when like the earthquake happened? Now, Green Bean, I'm assuming you probably didn't feel it down in Virginia, but man, I'm sitting in my house. I'm about to go live, and this like the house starts shaking, and it like, if it's a second or so, I wouldn't have cared, but it kept going, and now it's panic mode. Now it's like, I'm not thinking earthquake. I'm thinking like, shit, my furnace just exploded. I was like, I gotta get I sprint into Ren's room. I pulled the baby out of the crib. Becca grabs the dog. We run out of the house. We're freaking out. We're walking around the house trying to see if the foundation's cracked in any capacity. And then our neighbor comes out there like, holy shit, did you feel that? I'm like, okay, good. It's not just my house. Like that makes me feel a lot better. But holy smoke, dude, I was panicked for a solid, like, probably 30 seconds of just, I don't know what's going on. Matt, where were you?
Yeah, I was right here where I am right now. And so on brand. I was doing a mock draft. I thought I was going to go out. I wasn't like live streaming or recording. I wish I got my reaction to it. Like I was just fucking around. I did a two-round mock draft. Like it picked for all 32 teams because I was really bored the other day. And I'm sitting and my desk starts going. You felt it like in your feet first, and then like it kind of went up through your body. Like, what the hell is that? Because sometimes I live not too far from like a relatively main road. So if like a big truck goes by, like you feel that for a second. And I'm like, that's not it. So then I ran to the window. I'm like looking outside. He's like, what's happening? And then my dad called me. He's like, did you feel that? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I think we had an earthquake. I'm like, no way. And then I look on Twitter and everyone's like, I think we just had an earthquake here.
Dude,
crazy.
It was absolutely bonkers because as I go outside, there's this Jersey Power and Light like vehicle coming by. And I used to live in like this condo complex, a few years ago. And there was a quarry behind us and they would do blasting during the day where everyone's normally out at work. I'm in golf. So in the winter, I'm laid off. And I'm just like, I'm sitting there middle of the day and the house the whole 4-story building starts shaking. I was like, what is that? And then it made sense. They're blasting back there. That's what I thought was going on. So when I saw the Jersey Power and Light van come by, I'm like, oh, this goon just blew something up down the road. That's what happened. Nope. And actually, if you guys want to see my actual reaction, I went live right after it. And it was like, because I was planning to go live at 10:30 and I think the earthquake happened at 10:24. It was like the time frame. And just like the total bewilderment of everyone in the chat just saying where they felt it from. There were guys in Connecticut that felt it, and South Jersey and Pennsylvania. And then we had some people up in Rochester, and it was just bizarre feeling for sure. Green Bean, I'm assuming in Virginia, you probably didn't feel anything down that way.
I felt sympathy. That's what I felt. I didn't feel anything. I made
have
a
you
couple
ever had
calls.
an earthquake? Like, have you ever felt an earthquake before?
Yeah. in New Jersey, interestingly enough. See, I grew up in a house where we always lots of ghosts and shit. Like, so we're ghost people, right? So I grew up in a very ghosty, everything's ghosts and spirits and leaving shit around. And so when my bed shook, it was like probably like 83. My bed, I was laying in my bed and it shook. And I went out to my mother and I said, I think there's a ghost in my room. Because she said, yeah, there's one. She said, there's one in here too. It was like just 3 or 4 seconds. And then in the paper the next day, back when newspapers were, we didn't have internet. We just sat at home and waited for news to come to the door. But that's how we did it. But so it said that there was an earthquake in New Jersey. So I did feel that, but it's not any claim of strife or anything like that. But yeah, it's about it, man. I feel fortunate. I've been in lots of hurricanes, but no earthquakes, really.
Ryan in the chat says, my dad was on the roof of the North Shore Hospital on an I-beam. He safely scaled down the building after surprisingly not shitting himself. I would have needed to make sure I wore my brown pants to work because there's no way I'm standing on an I-beam and trying to scale down that after an earthquake. That is terrifying. I'm glad your dad is safe. Holy smokes. That's bonkers.
Oh my God, that is absolutely insane. Could you imagine? Holy shit.
Jingle Dubs comes in and says, we felt it in my classroom. All the glass beakers in my storage cabinet were shaking and rattling. I had to review earthquakes after that. Good times for an earth science teacher. Yeah, so Becca works at the environmental science campus for Columbia University, and she was like working from home that day. And all like the geeks and the nerds over in the university were like, oh my God, it was 4.8. And they're like shooting off emails and everything. So her inbox just exploded. So they were having, it was like Christmas for them over there. So I can imagine how you were feeling, Jingle Dubs. Very, very funny. Let's see, what other ones are in here? Infrared says, you're right, Ryan, 1024. I'm a supervisor for security at our trauma center, and I had to mark down the time in the logbook. Yeah, I guess that makes sense, right? Oh, speaking of other like worldly events, where were you? Did you guys look up and burn your retinas for the eclipse at all?
I did.
I was at work. It was cloudy, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna like squint a little bit." So I got a picture. I thought it was pretty cool. This Samsung phone has like 100 times zoom, which is like bonkers. But I have. Let me see if I can show it. This is the like.
You text it to an iPhone and it's blurry.
Yeah,
I know, it's so crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, every time I text a message to like Becca's like, when are you going to get an iPhone? I'm sick of seeing green text. I'm sick of them downgrading the pictures. I was like, my camera's perfect, but I can't send it to anyone because they make it stupid.
Let me show you a good picture from Bearded V-Tier, who I don't know if he's in here, sent one in the Beanbag or Discord. He had 100% coverage where he was. So look at this shit.
Awesome. Whoa, that's nuts.
Those are his pictures.
That's insane. That is a great picture.
Yeah.
That's really. I wish we had like. So one of the ladies in the office had the glasses, but it was so cloudy. As soon as you put them on, you couldn't see anything like at all. You couldn't see the sun.
Yeah, it was brutal. I drove all the way to my wife's job to like watch it with her. She had the glasses, and we got there, and the clouds rolled in about 10 minutes before it before it happened. We were going to get like 90+%. So it was going to be cool. We weren't going to get that crescent, whatever they call it. What do they call it? There's a word for it. We weren't going to get the.
Don't know.
Yeah, okay. We weren't going to get that, but it was going to be cool. And the clouds rolled in 10 minutes before it, and they left 7 minutes after it. Corona! My Corona! Thank you, Florida Jet fan. I didn't see shit. That's what it boiled
Matt,
down
what about
to.
you?
I was driving while it happened. The one thing, like, I kept all for like a week or so. If I don't know if where you guys are, if they had it too, but on Long Island on the Southern State Parkway, anytime I would drive on the Parkway, the signs would come up, be like Monday, April 8th, advisory,
like take mass transit. Like, why do you have to take mass transit for? Because of an eclipse? Like, come on, what are we doing? But it wasn't bad. It was fine driving it. I was wearing my sunglasses. It wasn't like I was staring up into the thing. So I was fine. But Taylor, my fiance, was all nervous about it. She's a nervous Nelly. She was like, you're gonna look too long and you're gonna be blind tonight, and I don't know what to do. So yeah, that was fun. But no, we were good. We were out doing some errands yesterday while it was happening.
Dude,
yeah.
like,
Did you hear about the world? Everybody thought the world was going to end. All that kind of shit.
It's like,
one
I don't
thing.
know
You know
if
what
that's
is funny? Remember the movie with Mel Gibson? He made it about like the Mayans. What was that called?
Oh, yeah. It's
so they were gonna. Yeah, I want to say 𝐴𝐵𝐴𝐺𝐵𝐽, but it's not it. It's Apocalypto.
There it is. Yep.
So that movie ended kind of with an eclipse. They were going to sacrifice this guy, our main character guy. And I'm sorry for spoilers, everybody, for this one. But they were going to sacrifice him, and then the eclipse happened. They thought it was a sign, so they didn't kill him. But it's like, is that who we are as a society? Like, we know it's the moon in front of the sun. I understand all the stuff about flat Earth, and it's not, and it's the black sun, and I listen to all, I get it, but can we just stop? It's the moon going in front of the sun. We've known this for a while now,
thousands of years. Like they know like down to the day when it's going to happen.
Right. It's like it's crazy, and like here we are, and we're still reacting like the Mayan medicine man. You know what I mean? Like, whoa! Like, we're freaking. I don't, as a society, I can't deal with who we are anymore. I don't get it.
Abbott says,
just remind everybody, we're here, Ryan. We made it.
Abbott comes in and says the eclipse is the most overblown event since Rodgers' Jets debut on Monday Night Football. It wasn't overblown. He just got hurt, and it was very disappointing.
We won.
I shouldn't even say disappointing. We won. So there's that. Yeah, look, the eclipse is like, it's one of those things it's cool, but it does happen twice a year, if I'm not mistaken. It just doesn't happen in the US. A lot of times it's over water. And like, this was one of the longer stretches. Like, I think we're not supposed to get another one like that till 2044. So I guess that's like the little bit of like, yes, that's like really cool. And that's probably as close as I'll probably be to one. I think the last one went like across the southern part of the country. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't driving anywhere. I heard like some of the rooms in Buffalo were like $700 for the night. It's like, that's bonkers.
Wild. So
I like the pictures that were online. That was really cool.
Of course. So remember in 2012 when the world was supposed to end? Do you remember that one?
Oh yeah, I was ready for it. 2002.
Yeah,
the light at my uncle's fish tank went off, and I was like, Y2K.
Yeah, Y2K was a big one.
Yeah,
But
Y2K.
remember, Matt, do you remember why the world was going to end in 2012?
The Mayan calendar, right?
Yeah,
because the Mayans 4,000 years ago made a calendar, and it ended in 2012. So that must mean we're all dead.
So, so shout out my high school's broadcasting morning announcement team. I of course was a part of that, but we made a joke about it, and like we did the weather, and like we had a green screen, and there was like just flames in the background, like the guy was like in the depths of hell doing the broadcast, and like it said like Tuesday temperature like 6,000 degrees or something. We got in a lot of trouble. Principal did not think that was very funny. No. Calling up, no, the principal's like, I had parents calling up, saying their kid was scared to come to school today, and you guys are making jokes. Like, I don't know. We were laughing in the control room. We thought it was kind of cool.
Oh, they got to soften up.
Funny.
That's ridiculous. That's great. That's grade A humor.
Yeah, we thought so.
Blitzkrieg says best sacrifice for God movie: Joe versus the volcano. I have not seen it.
That's what Tom Hanks. I don't remember that. I've watched it. I don't remember how that went. Blitz Crew.
I don't think there's a sacrifice, but Dogma is one of my favorite, like,
the best.
Almost like ridiculous ones with Jay and Silent Bob and Chris Rock. Oh, it's such a classic.
Yeah, it's great. George Carlin.
Oh yeah, he's incredible. Well, it was incredible.
Still
R.I.P.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, his stuff aged super well too. Like he would be. I wish he was alive today because that had to be 15 years ago. He was like mid 2000s, I think, is when he died.
Yep. Let me see.
I think that's when it was. My final video in films like school was like a voiceover of him like monologuing, and then I like threw a bunch of like clips of like current event type stuff on it. That would have been 2012 or 13.
Whoa. He died in 2008. Yeah.
Whoa, Allison.
Oh,
thank you so
this
much.
is great.
Drops a 50 spot. Allison.
Let's see if we can read it.
Is that rumor or facts? I seen it on Google that he asked like he lost interest in the Jets and had a Packer shirt on like he was going to play for them and doesn't even care if Hackett is there or if the Jets 17 is there. Nice interest and don't care. I'm not sure I'm...
Who? Are we talking about Aaron Rodgers?
I think so. Allison, could you clarify just who you're talking about? I think that's what he's talking about. She's talking about Rodgers is what WM's saying. I didn't hear this.
No.
Like he lost interest in the Jets and had a Packers shirt on. I mean, he played for the Packers forever.
He's asking if she's talking about Rodgers. There's a question mark there.
Oh.
Who's number 17?
I'm assuming he's
Garrett Wilson
or Devontae Adams in the event he were to come over. Maybe that. I don't know.
Is that rumors or facts?
I love how it's facts, FAX.
Yeah, but for that as the opening sentence of the whole paragraph just makes it.
Well, I got to say, though, I'm sorry. Go on, Matt, please.
No, I was trying to do my green bean of really like breaking it down like sentence and by sentence. Starting it with a question with no context is hard to figure out.
It is. But that all considered, this is one of Allison's truly greatest, purest, like easiest to read. We don't know what it is still again, but
this has to be typed. There's no way this was like a talk to text.
What's the OBJ stuff? Do you see that?
Yeah, I do, and I'm not sure. It might be an emoji that's not recognized by YouTube. Like if it's on a phone.
Oh, yeah, OBJ. What could that mean?
I know OBJ had his own emojis. Maybe she downloaded those.
Orange banana. Maybe she's talking about OBJ.
Orange banana juice. Right?
Orange banana juice, which is not bad if you've ever had it, which I have. So maybe it's orange banana juice, but maybe she's talking about
object, says Crossfire. That probably makes a lot more sense. So there was some type of object there. It's probably an emoji that like YouTube doesn't recognize. That would be my guess.
Object.
But I don't know why you would throw those at those particular spots.
Oh, why would you start with a question with no context? There's a lot of
why is care capitalized at the end? Very confused.
Play for them. She probably had a Packers jersey.
Is it a
on
place?
There.
Is it an important
Packers
word?
Jersey. Maybe
it's
it was
like
one of these guys.
It's one of those Nicolas Cage like swirly bird things. I love how she just drops the comment and then doesn't respond back in the chat. Come on, Allison. We're talking to you.
No, I know. Where do you go? You got to help us. Like we're
she's like, I'm going to throw a hand grenade into this. It's going to be great, and I'm going to walk away.
She loves it. She's the best, dude.
She really is.
I missed Allison actually.
I was going to say we haven't really like had a good like Allison comment in a while. This one, I love it.
Allison,
thank you, Allison.
She's really big on the typos. So do we think she meant to send $4.99? And
well, she does talk to text a lot.
Yeah, no,
this looks like it's too well written to be a talk to text. I think this definitely. I feel like there's just some context missing here.
Oh, or maybe Frankie says maybe it's one of those cryptic riddles where you have to take every fifth letter to form.
I said that. I was like, it's one of those Nicolas Cage like cipher things where he's
Why'd you say Nicolas Cage?
You never seen National Treasure?
Oh yeah, wow, okay.
Or Da Vinci
go to,
Code. I
like-
guess that's not Nicolas
Yeah, I
Cage.
go
That
to
would
the
be
Da
like
Vinci Code. I would have
Tom
been
Hanks.
more. Yeah. I got you. I'm sorry. That's my bad. I see it now. It's a cipher. Yeah. Okay.
The chat seems equally as confused. Greg says Allison is the Riddler, followed by
Yeah, I
John
think
saying
we're
Allison is the
there,
Riddler.
though. I think we're close. We just
I
need to
mean-
know who.
Rogers related, right?
It has to be.
Hopefully, maybe it's Alan Lazard. How about that?
That'd be
Alan
great.
Lazard wants to go back to Green Bay. Good. Send him.
No, he's donezo.
I think it's Reggie Cobb. Maybe it's Bakhtiari.
You think Bakhtiari comes?
That's an interesting question. There are
Right.
people that in the Twitterverse
Mhm.
that say the Jets aren't taking a tackle in the first because we already have a handshake deal with Bakhtiari. The interesting next layer of that is when you say, "How do you know that?" They don't talk to you anymore.
Dude, I've been saying this for a month. I've been saying McGovern and Bakhtiari are coming in after the draft, and they're just trying to hide their hand. The same reason why
Where's
they
our
have not
proof?
restructured Conklin, so that way they try to get someone to either take Bowers in front of us. I think they're going for 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞𝐬. I think that's the player they want. And I think them not restructuring Conklin plays into the Bowers hand, and I think them having a handshake agreement with like a Bakhtiari or McGovern allows them to maybe omit offensive line at number 10 when everyone else thinks we need to go offensive line. And I think that's the little chess match that's going on. So I'm in full agreement with whoever thinks that Bakhtiari is coming here.
Yeah, but and all right, and that's fine, and that all can happen, and it's not beyond the realm of possibility, right? That makes sense because Bakhtiari not coming to like OTAs, and I mean that's it makes perfect sense. But if he's signed and doesn't come, then it's a story and all that other shit. And it could show that it could tip the Jets' hand, right? Like we're talking about, but there's still no proof of it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? There's not even a real
Green
rumor.
bean,
It's something
flat
we're
Earth,
making.
hollow moon, the pyramids are power plants, chemtrails, all that stuff. And you don't buy in on the Bakhtiari conspiracy. Come on.
I was just gonna say everything you said except flat Earth is real.
After our conversation, I looked up. My YouTube now has chemtrails all over it because I was like, okay, what's this? What's Green Bean talking about? I didn't hear about these chemtrails, and it's like cloud seeding. It's a totally different thing than what they're talking about. But
It's not though. No, you're buying into the bullshit.
Dude, I looked at what cloud seeding is. It's like done in hyper, like it has to be immediate. It's done in Texas where they like have rainstorms and they're like, okay, we got to.
That's what they're saying now, Ryan. Up till about 5 years ago, whenever you talked about that, they said that it was your imagination. It was something called a contrail, which is
people were talking about it coming out the back of jets.
I am talking about it coming out of the back. Well,
but they're not flares. they're iodine. They're iodine flares. That's what cloud seeding is. And the iodine condenses the water molecules in the cloud.
Let me ask you this. When did they pass any laws about we're going to start seeding the clouds?
But there's not, if there's nothing, do you need a law if something's like deemed
you can
not
just spray
harmful?
Shit all over the air?
Crop dusters do it in like the black dirt fields by me all the time.
Yeah, and
that's
right,
closer
and
to a chemtrail.
There's specific laws governing what they can and can't do, where they can do it, all those kinds of things. This is something that up until a few years ago, they were denying vehemently. There's nothing we are spraying into the clouds. That is condensation. When it became, people started testing the air and sludge, they would put up.
So when I look back at the videos that were like, when I look back at the videos that were like, oh, these are chemtrails, like all this stuff. The videos they're showing are the air flying over the tips of the wings of planes that are high up. The contrails are what they were showing, as opposed to like what this actually, like I never saw a video of what cloud seeding was in any of those old videos of quote unquote chemtrails.
Yeah, listen, it's real. All right, there wouldn't be numerous states enacting laws right now that they don't want it happening over their states if it wasn't happening. There are chemicals that they're spraying into the air. They're saying now it's weather modification. Biden said something recently about it. They can cool the earth, all kinds of stuff. Like they're all talking. 5 years ago, they were denying it up and down the street. They said it's not real. So anyway, it's a whole different thing. Bakhtiari?
It was really cool to go into though. So it's like it creates like a 1% chance of rain more, like, or it's going to rain 1% more than it would have. And there's a little bit of like making it rain earlier and like making it not rain somewhere else. So that was like a little bit of like a conflict maybe of like, hey, are you like preventing rainfall in a different area by making it rain earlier there? They do it on the ground too. I saw one where they did like a test flare and it's like just on the top of a hill. So you need like the wind blowing the right way and like, you know, a high percentage chance of humidity and stuff. It was interesting. But that's what I did 2 nights ago.
Yeah. All right,
Big fella says,
cool.
Allison's talking about Devontae Adams. So Devontae Adams, I think there is renewed interest in Devontae Adams because Devontae Adams has been preaching that he wants Jaden Daniels as his quarterback. And if they're not going to get a quarterback that can get him the ball, it doesn't make sense for him to be there. So I think there is some level of interest in could Devontae become available at some point if he really wants to win. And what do the Raiders do? Like the connection is obviously Antonio Pierce coaching or coaching alongside Jaden Daniels at ASU and them wanting to come up and get him. It's just a monster haul of picks. And where does Jaden Daniels ultimately go? Does he go 2? I think 3 is the highest some team is going to be able to get up to. So if he's there, maybe they try to make a move up that high. But there are some comments from Devontae Adams that are like, that's my guy, is Jaden Daniels. So maybe if they don't get him and is he okay with Gardner Minshew and okay with Aiden O'Connell? I'm not so sure. It's interesting.
Force him out. Devontae Adams, 2026 third.
That's right.
Gator.
I'll be right back. I just have to answer all these cloud seeding comments in the chat real quick.
I'm sort of looking. I want to go back and like see this. I'm curious what other people are saying.
We should hang out for a few hours one weekend. I'll show you all kinds of shit.
Oh, dude, I could go down rabbit holes for days. It's so much fun. Yeah. Hollow Moon, great. Power plant, pyramids, great. Lizard people, let's go. I'm all about it. Gator comes in with a super chat, says, if the Jets pickle sent Ricky, does Mama Fast Dog face to the banana patch? See, this is like Gator McCluskey's best impersonation of Allison. So Gator, I expect to see an Allison. I mean, I guess this is all we know because we don't know what Allison actually looks like, but this is great.
Well, let's see if we can make sense of this.
Can we do it? Is he talking about Pickle Rick? Like Rick and Morty Pickle Rick?
Hell yeah, Pickle Rick. Pickle Rick! Right on, man. Does Mama Fast Dog face to the banana patch?
He's just screwing with us now.
He's trolling.
I would love to know whatever this is. I need to decipher it. I need help. I need an adult. Jay-Z comes in with his member super chat. Thank you so much. It says, we need a 2-hour show on conspiracy theories hosted by you guys. Oh yeah, go Jets, LOL. Dude, we could totally do something like that. Maybe we'll do like a members only, like down the rabbit
members
hole.
Ryan and Green Bean do conspiracies for 2 hours. I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy guy. I don't know enough to chime in on that, unfortunately.
Oh, dude. I'll send you a video after this. Just watch it for the sake of watching it. It'll get your mind spinning. Like, oh boy.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? You know, Ryan was just talking about his YouTube feed. I go onto my YouTube feed. I noticed it a couple weeks back, maybe a month ago, whatever. I'm like, I don't even have any Jets on my where's all the Jets shit? I have to search it. I'm like, wow, I've really been digging into this pyramid shit for a long time. I'm reading the green tablet, the emerald tablets. Anybody know? Recognize fire emojis if you know about the emerald tablets, everybody.
I do not know about this, but I will be Googling it. Dude, I love the whole pyramid thing. I love the whole, it's fascinating to see if JP Morgan didn't back Edison and he backed Tesla instead, and you where the world would have been with wireless electricity as opposed to the electricity you can actually sell and make a profit on. Because JP Morgan pulled funding from Tesla. There's so much fun stuff that you can go into.
They ruined Tesla, dude. They ruined him.
Destroyed him. The main catch.
Sad story.
Yeah. Main catch comes in and says, I live in Maine, where the skies are clear and beautiful. Green Bean is not wrong. Chemtrails are real, man. Government is faulty. Go Jets. Yeah. I don't. Cloud seeding's real. I don't know if you want to call cloud seeding chemtrails, then okay, fine. I feel like we're splitting hairs. Crossfire says, I'm a Freemason. Don't believe everything you hear about us. I don't hear anything about you. You guys just hide stuff on the back of dollar bills and things like that. You guys are crazy.
Right.
I love it.
I have friends that are I was actually asked to join the Freemasons. I said no.
That happened to me.
My buddy's father was a 32nd degree.
What does it mean to become a Freemason? Like, what do you have? Is there like an initiation or like?
Yeah, there's some stuff. I mean, truth is, I don't know. Here's the thing: once you become a Freemason, at least this is what it was explained to me. Like, there's a lot of watching you to make in the beginning to make sure that you are what you say you are, all that kind of stuff. That's where I was like, I'm too freaky for that, dude.
Yeah, I don't want you guys putting my stuff on the internet multiple times a day or multiple times a week.
Yeah,
that would be weird.
Talking about,
especially if it was about one of my hobbies.
That's right. I don't want you guys knowing my hobbies. I know. I think you get a secret ring and you show it at traffic stops. You put your hand on the window and they go, "Thank you, sir."
I want a secret ring. That's so cool. Yo, make me a Freemason. Let me know. Send me a thing. Application. I want to know where National Treasure is. Jason Edwards comes in with a super chat. Says, the Jets are the definition of Murphy's Law. Please draft a tackle in round 1. The need to protect Aaron slightly outweighs our need for a wide receiver. So that is the PTSD side of Jet fans for sure. Because when I look at how our offensive line has performed and been injured the last few years, it has been a statistical anomaly. And is this just going to continue to be a statistical anomaly year over year? Right now, we have a left tackle who hasn't played a full season since 2015, but in the 7 playoff appearances that the Cowboys have made, Tyron Smith has played in every single game. So he has been healthy when it matters most. On the other side, you got Morgan Moses, who has been healthy 95% of every single season up until last year, where he played 76 or 73% of the games, I think is what it was. And he played through like a torn pec the entire year. Like, the dude's an Iron Man. Like, if you're talking about feeling kind of comfortable with your offensive line, this should be kind of it. And then Carter Warren, you know they like him. They thought he could have been drafted higher were it not for the injury. And for me, Carter Warren in spot fill-in opportunities for Tyron Smith, if it's 3-4 games throughout the course of a season sprinkled in, I'm okay with that. I could totally live with that on that side. But it's what does AVT look like after the Achilles?
Yeah.
Does Tyron Smith go down in a critical moment? Can this guard tackle, maybe it's a Fautanu, can he push Morgan Moses to be a better starter or supplant him? It's only a $5.5 million contract for Moses. Could John Simpson be pushed harder at left guard, or could Fautanu play left guard instead? So there is a ton of things that make sense for offensive line in this draft. You can say, hey, if someone gets hurt, at least if God forbid Brees gets hurt, you still need to keep Aaron Rodgers upright, even more so without a running game. So I get the idea with the tackle. I just want to go weapon. I'm Odunze all the way if I can get him. If Odunze's there at 10, I'm running the card up to the table, and I won't even think twice about it. Matt, what are your thoughts? Has it changed at all, offensive lineman in the first?
No, I think you can make a very strong case to go offensive line in the first round. And if it's, Fautanu, who you mentioned, I think he could play over John Simpson. Honestly, I really do. I think he would fight for that spot at left guard and then kick out to tackle when Tyron Smith gets hurt, because it's unfortunate. He is going to. He gets hurt every single year. You're probably happy if he plays 13 games, which, I'll take 13 games from Tyron Smith, but you need to have a really good backup plan. It depends on how they feel about Carter Warren. They may they might like him a lot. It seems like they do. It'd be nice to see him have a full off season in a training camp and not be injured. But I get those who are nervous about the offensive line health and want to go offensive line in the first round. I think it's a logical choice, just as much as a weapon is also a logical choice. I think you can make a really good argument for either one of those. So as long as they're coming away with something on offense, I think I'll be pretty happy on draft night.
Green Bean, what about you? How are you feeling about offensive line in the first round?
I'm not going to be upset if they go, if Odunze's there, if they say we can't pass up on Odunze. Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm excited. I'm in. Technically speaking, as it stands right now, wide receiver is a greater need than offensive line. The problem I have with that is that the offensive line ability, the positionally, the ability to get a guy that's going to come in and be able to start in the event something happens that's very Jets like in the first quarter of the season, is really diminished after that first group of tackles go. So we're getting our choice of one of the top tackles, or if Odunze, really Brian Thomas Jr. is, or you can make a case for A.D. Mitchell. That's kind of the end of that top tier of wide receivers. But when you start looking in the third round, the wide receivers that you can get there are much more likely to come in and make an immediate impact than the tackles that are going to be there. So it's concerning to me. I'm with Jason. I think if I have to put my money on something helping the team this year, looking at our history over the past decade and seeing what our issue is, and then taking an objective look at who we have, while on paper, if healthy, best offensive line we've had in a long time. Problem is, 3 of them have been injured. Tippmann a couple games, but AVT significant. We lost him for the last 2 seasons. As we know, Tyron Smith averages 8 games over the past 9 or 10 years. Morgan Moses has just had shoulder surgery. So, we're really messing around. I say, what is the most important thing to this team this year? It's Aaron Rodgers. The most important aspect of Aaron Rodgers to do anything is he's got to be on his feet and not running around for his life. The receivers, he can make good receivers look great. Conklin, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Mike Williams, if we get a Malik Washington or a Malachi Corley, one of those guys, we're going to be fine. Whereas if we don't draft a tackle in the first and we take Odunze and we're waiting until the third and we're getting what's the kid from Notre Dame? His name is
Blake Fisher.
Yeah, like somebody like that, who I think is going to have himself a good career. I think first year is not the year that you want to be depending on him to keep Aaron Rodgers standing on his feet. So, I just think it's too risky. Job one is Aaron Rodgers. Priority is Aaron Rodgers. All of our eggs are in the Aaron Rodgers basket. The number one thing that has to happen is he's got to be able to drop back and release the ball without getting killed. And in order to do that, we need to put all of our resources into that job, which is offensive line. So that's the way I would lean. So there it is.
So according to Dom C, 𝐀𝐮𝐫𝐲, the tackle from Yale, however you say his last name, has a top 30 visit with the New York Jets. And right now, across his big board rankings, I'll rattle these off. PFF has him at 57, Draft Tech 61, NFL.com 63, Draft Buzz 65, The Athletic 65, MDDB has him 74, Draft Net 82, ESPN 90, NBC Sports 94, Fox Sports 96. So if I'm looking at top 30 visits that kind of pique my interest, it's 100% that particular tackle out of Yale. And that tells me that the Jets are poking around and think he's a little bit more interesting. I believe Zaire Barnes, according to Dom C, and JBC were both top 30 visits last year as well. So something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Jets doing some recon in some of the mid-round.
They also got Brendan Rice and
sure.
And Roman
Odunze,
Wilson.
there's Max Melton.
But I'm talking about that range. You know what I mean? We're talking about the 60s to 70s. You got Roman Wilson. You got Brendan Rice. Who else we got here for a wide receiver? Okay, Odunze. He's going to Malik Nabe. Nope.
Troy Franklin's going to go earlier.
Right? So what we have
I think there's pivot options. I think that's what it is. Like if Odunze is not there, maybe they go O-line early and then they pivot to a Brendan Rice. If they go Odunze early, they might pivot to a 𝐀𝐮𝐫𝐷𝐲, however you say his name. I think that's kind of what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
We've got the response.
Oh,
Baby.
Allison, thank you so much for the super chat. Allison says, yeah, I'm talking Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, we had a Packers regret. Not talking to him when he left. Talking about Aaron Rodgers. I wish we could get Max Crosby?
Yeah.
His nickname, I like to call him Killer. We need David from the Raiders. So he's saying David from the Raiders.
Yeah,
David
threw me.
Devontae Adams from the Raiders? And then she likes Max Crosby?
Yeah.
Who doesn't? That's how I'm reading that. He's incredible.
Killer. It's a good name for him.
He's one of the best edges in the game.
Let's break this down. Okay. So she's talking about Aaron Rodgers, so that clarifies something. So she said, is it a rumor or facts that Aaron Rodgers is not interested in being a Jet?
Rumor.
We had Packers regret not talking to him when he left, talking about Aaron Rodgers. So Packers players were saying they regretted not talking to him when he left the Packers. I
know when he was on McAfee at the end of January, he had said something along the lines of the Packers are having discussions without me, and that's really weird. I don't understand that. And then he comes out of the darkness and he pretends like that conversation didn't happen and he didn't know. It was a really weird scenario if you kind of look at the timeline of what he was saying throughout that whole part. So, like, I don't think I'd never bought into the whole, like, retirement side of things. But maybe he's talking about, maybe she's saying the Packers regret not talking to him at that point earlier in January. And then that conversation that he had on McAfee was like, hey, it's weird that they're having discussions without me. They're clearly talking about moving me. And I think Salah said as much too. They said, like, right after the season, they thought it could be something that might materialize. So clearly there were discussions to some degree happening.
I don't know. I mean, look, I heard him on Rogan very recently. He was talking about the Jets and our team and our guys and all that kind of stuff. I don't think there's any. I mean, what are we doing? What changed for him except that we got him an offensive line and some more weapons? You know what I mean? I don't know. It doesn't seem like what would inspire him to all of a sudden not want to make good on all of his claims and boasts and contracts and all. What could have happened?
Yeah, I feel like the guy taking a $35 million pay cut was proof positive enough that he very much wants to be here and he very much wants us to build around him. Like, I feel like this was where he wanted to be, for sure. Matt, anything else you want to throw onto this?
Yeah, no, I don't know. It, to me, it doesn't pass the sniff test of the rumor being true, right? Like, because what he never really got that shot, unfortunately. He never got, because he went down 4 plays in. So I think he wants to prove people wrong. I really believe that.
Allison, you're incredible. Thank you so much,
Allison.
𝐿'𝐶𝐞𝐫𝐚 comes in and says, being a Freemason before or after Yankee Doodle?
Oh, after, dude. Nobody's hiring Yankee Doodle or hiring. Nobody wants him to be a Freemason. That guy was a mess. That guy was a mess. Yankee Doodle was on a lot of crystal methamphetamine, 𝐿'𝐶𝐞𝐫𝐚.
Oh, no.
Big fella comes in with a super chat, says, wide receiver has the same amount of need as running back. If Garrett gets hurt, we are screwed. But if Brees gets hurt, we have no backup. Izzy showed nothing. Draft offensive line. So I have an answer to both these. And I'm probably going to do a mock draft. I don't know if it's tonight after this, and I'll like actually put it out tomorrow. But I very much want to address wide receiver, and I want to address running back in some capacity in this draft. Doesn't necessarily have to be crazy, crazy high. But 𝐿'Dounze is one I really like in the first round. And Braden Allen, the kid from Wisconsin, really good. Dude, he's going to be 20 years old the entirety of the season. He doesn't turn 21 until January 20th.
Yeah,
Young
he should
buck.
be our target.
Dude, I really like him. If you can, yeah, he's the perfect complement to Breece Hall. If you can get him, if he's there in the 4th, I would make that pick over the quarterback, and I would hope the quarterback falls to the next pick.
Yeah, I don't agree with the big fella's comment about running back being just as big of a need as wide receiver though, because of like the positional value. I think you can get, we see teams get by more often with injuries to the running. It would suck to lose Brees. I want him to play all 17. I think he has a stellar season if they do, but yeah, at this point, I think it's not really comparable if you ask me.
Creamy, what are your thoughts on wide receiver, running back? You know, if either one gets screwed, you know, we should go offensive line.
Well, let me say this though. I don't think that running back is as big a need, only in the sense that in this, like, so you got to look at what's before you, right? So, like, yes, we have. I mean, I did a little stream on it last night. Just said, do we think Izzy's a viable number 2? Most people don't feel very comfortable with that idea, right? So we need to bring in a running back. So it's definitely a need. But this particular draft, the top running backs are not going to be taken in the first round. Most of them won't even be taken in the second round. So in the third round, fourth round, you're going to be getting last year's second and third round picks, right? So like the same year with like Brees Hall, like we got the top running back in the class in the second round. Now it was the early second round, first couple picks. We even traded up a little bit to make sure that we got him. But that was an interesting year because, you know, look at last year. We had, what was it? 2 running backs went in the first. So this year, the need might be right there with it because, look, we do have Garrett Wilson. We do have Mike Williams, albeit that he's a little injured. We still have Gibson and we have Lazard with Rodgers, which is different than Lazard with Zach Wilson. We know this because we saw 4 years of it in Green Bay. And while he's not a wide receiver 1 or anything like that, he can be a serviceable 3 with Aaron Rodgers. We know that already because he did it. So we're in a better situation at wide receiver than we are, especially when you think we still have Conklin and Ruckert and you know, and even Yeboah for that matter, coming in at tight end to kind of supplement in the passing game. And running back, it's Brees. He goes down. We got Izzy and that other guy. What's his name again? Vance Holiday or some shit like that. Isn't that his name?
It's something weird like that.
Hold on, I gotta see. Depth. All right, so I gotta see his name right now. Hold on. A running back, Valade Zazavan or Zaxavian Valade. So that's crazy town. Then we got Jacques Patrick.
I had no idea who anyone was past Izzy. I'm thinking like
nobody does.
Die or something like. I was like, I have no idea who's back there.
Yeah. Did you guys see who the third weak side linebacker is?
No.
Marcelino McCrary Ball, everybody.
Oh, yeah, him. Of course. That guy.
Yeah. So, but it's like, so technically speaking, running back could be considered a greater need. But like Matt said, you can get away, especially in this particular draft, waiting until the 4th round and taking one of like Braylon Allen, Audric Estime, like one of those guys are going to be there for you. And I believe that the Jets should be looking for that skill set, the bigger bodied guy, get you the hard yards. Don't start, you know, we don't need to run Brees Hall into the pile to get, you know, to get a yard when you can have a big body guy that's just going to plow over everybody. Don't waste, you know, Brees's mileage that way, in my opinion, you know? So yeah, I think we're going to draft the running back. Joe Douglas, if he didn't, it'd be the first year that he didn't. I think the 4th round is our sweet spot for that. And I think we'll get a good one. So the need is right there. I agree with the big fella, but how we're going to address it and address it successfully doesn't necessarily require the same attention that wide receiver made this year.
So Braylon Allen, I think I said Braden Allen before. Braylon Allen, 6'2", 245 pounds. Perfect compliment to Brees Hall.
Incredible.
The last 3 years, this past year had 982 yards on the ground, 5.4 yards a carry, 12 touchdowns. Year before, 1,200 yards. Year before that, 1,200 yards as well. I did not look up what was his receiving yards. Just curious to see if there's anything there. So not much in the way of receiving yards, 130, 104, and 39 the last 3 years. So mainly just a bruising type back that I think, look, I very much would be on board with like a Zeke Elliott or some type of bruising veteran running back. But if you're telling me I could get fresh legs with what this kid appears to be able to do, I would be ecstatic. I would be pumped if we were able to get that. 𝐿𝐵𝐲𝐻�0 says, I've got nothing to say. Thank you, 𝐿𝐵𝐲𝐻�0, for the $5 super chat. And that creepy, terrifying Easter bunny you got in your profile picture.
Well
or
done.
maybe it's not an Easter bunny and you're just a furry. That's okay too. I won't judge you.
It is okay.
Not going to kink shame. Green Bean. Green Bean's burner says, got my tickets for the draft show. Let's go.
There you
Thank
go,
you so
dude.
much.
I can't wait. You mean I get to meet Green Bean's burner?
Absolutely. Green Bean's burner, Matt, I don't know if you heard us, but Green Bean's burner just got tickets to the Jets draft show, Talkin Jets draft show. So we'll throw this up here again. Boys and girls, if you have not done so already and you want to join us, night 1 of the NFL draft, 3-hour open bar, buffet, raffles, crowd cam, fan reaction with us. It's talkinjets.com. Tickets are on sale until Tuesday next week. We're going to do the final call Tuesday during the show. After the show ends, it's all over. So you got to get your tickets now so that way we can let the main event know. But Green Bean's burner, we are very, very excited to meet you, brother. Peter comes in with Super Chat, says, then draft Malachi Corley, wide receiver, converted from running back. I mean, you could do that, right? Like maybe you have that slot guy that's also like your backup running back in some capacity. That would be a weird move to make. I like the player, but I like adding a running back and adding a wide receiver as opposed to adding a guy that can do both. I feel like you're doing like half steps then. Matt, what are your thoughts on maybe liking Malachi Corley as the receiver, but then also potentially liking him as a running back as well?
Well, he's basically poor man's Debo. So that you could use him like how San Francisco uses Deebo Samuel if you want to do that. Like that, like how we call Brock Bowers a weapon, Malachi Corley is a weapon for the same reasons.
Is he going to be there in the third? I thought he was a little bit higher. I thought he was like 2nd round pick kind of guy. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
Fringe 2nd, early 3rd would be my projection for him, but you never know. It's the NFL draft.
Okay. Green Bean, what are your thoughts about taking a receiver that might be able to play that running back type role that could be our Deebo Samuel?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think if you draft Malachi Corley, he's going to be playing running back. Now, if everybody's dead and we don't have any running backs, and yes, he can play running back. But I think if we draft Malachi Corley, Peter, I think he's going to be a wide receiver. I would be delighted if they came away with Malachi Corley. If he makes it to 72 and that's the grab, I'm going to be psyched about it. What is he called? The Yak King. Now, there's a rumor that he may have made that up himself, similar to the Prez, but doesn't matter. One of those. But I saw an interview with him with Steve Smith. It was great. It was a great interview, man. He seems like a very humble guy. And he did. I watched a lot of his tape, and I love Malachi Corley.
Allison had a comment up here, said, I said Sauce and the Jets 17. They want to play with Aaron Rodgers. So I guess she's talking about Garrett Wilson at the time.
Yeah.
Play with Aaron Rodgers. Don't get to play with him because he got injured last year.
They're looking forward to it. But that doesn't sound like what you said, Allison, at all, actually.
I don't even remember seeing Sauce. I got to go back to this.
No, I do remember Jet 17. Either way, that's good. That's another point. And I agree. I remember when Garrett Wilson went to check on Aaron Rodgers at halftime and he said, I'm sorry, kid.
Oh, broke my.
Terrible. Ugh. Yeah, I don't see Sauce in here, Allison.
I see Jet 17. But either way, Allison, you're awesome for clarifying. And thank you for the super chats too, man. No joke. For real.
Yeah. I want to throw this comment up here too from her. Why were we going to get rid of Zach? That is just a young player, but if someone gets hurt, he's there to help try to look for one when Zach is there. I think the plan was always to move off of Zach Wilson. I think my interpretation or thought process when they were talking to Aaron Rodgers and the Jets knew they were going to have to give up, something of strong value, especially if it was going to get done before the draft. They told Rodgers, We need more than 1 year commitment out of you. He probably said, I'm looking to play 3 years. Let's play it off as 1 year. We're going to train Zach as best we can. Zach is a lost cause right now, but maybe we could fluff his trade value in preseason, which is what we tried to do. We saw all the hype around Zach in training camp, which we did like. And the whole point was for him to sit for an entire year. Then Aaron Rodgers comes out at the end of the season, which he did, and say, I'm going to continue to play more games. And then that's when the Jets could have flipped the script and said, oh, we're not trading Zach Wilson because he's bad. We're trading Zach Wilson because we have a commitment from Aaron Rodgers. So I think the Jets have probably been off Zach since the Jaguars game 2 years ago, when everything fell apart. And this was kind of their off ramp to be able to do it in a clean fashion for Zach and for the whole team. And then it just got screwed up when Aaron went down. But I would say his time's probably done in New York, Allison.
Yeah, but if they were going to do that whole plan, why didn't they ever sign a backup, period? We never signed one.
Because I think they gambled on Rodgers playing every snap like he's always done. That, like, the same thing with Derek Carr. Derek Carr plays every snap. And I think either way, you were going to try and do the same thing. Aaron was just clearly the better option to do that with. And it just bit him in the ass. Like, I was very pro 2 quarterbacks going into the season. I'm very pro 2 quarterbacks going into the season this year as well. I think having that extra roster spot, if you have to get down to quarterback 3, it's not going to matter. Like, I mean, except for the fact of, like, okay, if Aaron has the ability to come back, which is crazy that he actually had that potential last year. But, like, I feel like Tyrod, and then if you get to quarterback 3, regardless of who it is, it's just turn around, hand the ball off to Breece Hall, and just hope we get a win with our defense and him. Like, I like going into the season last year with 2 quarterbacks. It just sucks that we had to use Zach as our backup.
Zach is so bad.
Yeah, I know.
Why are we going to get rid of Zach? Because he's not good. Unfortunately.
Yep.
I wish he was.
That's the answer. 𝐿'𝐵𝐼. Oh, Matt, can you go over to last week's stream, Green Bean? Make sure you hit that like button, boys and girls. For every 25 likes we get on this video, we're going to pick a t-shirt qualifier like right now. And we're only 1 like away from getting another one. So you guys can, get us over that 200 mark too. You get 2 more. 𝐿''𝐵𝐼 says, clearing myself of the furry allegations. The bunny was my gamer picture on Xbox 360 and comes from the video game Amped 3. Okay, 𝐿''𝐵𝐼, that's fine. That's all right. Mm-hmm. You don't have to justify your furriness to me. That's okay. It's all good. 𝐀𝐮 says, Allison sounds like Yankee Doodle Bean.
I think Allison sounds a little better than that.
I do too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Yankee Doodle's a great name, like a great porn name. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it was
Yankee
good.
Doodle's Noodle is just like, that should have been the sequel.
That was going to be my when I earned my own flick. You know what's funny? I could have written myself into, because I was the production manager. I could have literally wrote myself into any scene I wanted with any of those girls. I had to hire somebody. I just had to put a name in there. It could have been Yankee Doodle.
Yankee Doodle.
But I had a girlfriend.
I mean, how in depth do you get into like the script of these things? Like, well, okay, yeah, no, ring the doorbell twice. Yeah, okay, pizza box. There's a hole in the pizza box. Let's figure it out.
Well, ours was a comedy adult film, so we actually had we had a script, and the girls did. I mean, you'd be surprised how well they did with certain stuff. But yeah, so they ad-libbed a little bit. They did stuff, but yeah, it was all by design. I mean, we had whole sets. We had the mating games. We had like 3 bachelors and the whole thing. We had it looked like a game show. We had a whole thing. It's crazy.
I love it. That's like, what's funny when you see like those B-rate movies, and I'm like sitting there watching like Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus, Sharknado, Croctopus, all those like ridiculous ones. I'm like, man, these guys look familiar. Where did I see them? I'm like, that's where I saw them. That's the type of acting you're getting out of those movies. But I've seen better acting in some of those types of movies than the B-rate.
Yeah,
movies.
It's pretty bad. I didn't expect much, but
Crossfire says porn bloopers are hilarious. I don't think I've ever tried to look up porn bloopers. Now that's going to be a thing. I'm going to my whole fucking.
I gotta see.
I guess I can't have an algorithm on YouTube like that. It probably doesn't work.
You want to stay away from that. Yeah.
No, for sure.
Private browser.
Yeah, little incognito mode. All right.
What do you got
Bean.
there, O'Leary?
Was there a fluffer?
No, that was one of the first questions I asked when I got out there. And I was told that's one of the biggest myths in porn. That's not true.
Really?
Not
I remember
true.
being like in middle school, being like, "Wow, that's got to be the best job ever."
You guys want to hear something?
Yes.
I mean, it's pretty interesting, but it's pretty rough. You want to hear it?
Rough in a bad way? Rough in like a...
I mean, rough in not rough is probably the wrong word. It's risque.
Okay. Let's roll with it.
All right. So on my movie, so we had one of the guys that I had in one of the films couldn't do the job. Okay. So he just couldn't do it. He couldn't end the scene. Okay. Let me say that. Couldn't do it. And it was with Michelle Michaels, who at the time was beautiful, very, 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 very attractive young lady. But so what we had to do is something called think of the male chicken, right? What that word is, but stunt before it. There's actually a term. They said, "Oh, we got to use a stunt," and I was like, "What is happening?" So what happened is my director, Mickey G, just stepped in, and he's a professional. So he stepped in. They filmed the scene. Then they filmed just him alone doing that, cut it, and then went back, put her near the other guy, and they pretended that it was him.
Ah,
So it was
interesting. Movie magic.
Yeah. Movie magic, right? So if there was a fluffer, we would have been able to take care of that. So no fluffers, everybody.
Isn't there another term? Yeah, no, that is right. Well, I wouldn't want to be the fluffer. I'd want to be the person that got fluffed, right? Like that's the.
You don't want to be the fluffer, Ryan. I mean, you might, but you know.
That's all right. Whatever. All right.
We have a
Welcome
lot
to Talkin Jets.
by the way.
Things get sidetracked. Day 3 of the draft, baby. Can't wait for that.
What'd you say, Matt? What was that?
You have a lot of timestamps from last week's show to add.
Ooh, okay. Timestamp time. Let's go.
Timestamp. All right, let's do it.
The Gagney.
Oh, Gregster. All right.
Frank the North.
Ooh, wait. I got an idea. Hold on. Before you go any further, anyone who wants to get entered into next week's giveaway, along with the timestamp, give us your best porn name. I would love to see that in the comments. Maybe that's not allowed or whatever, but I think that would be hysterical because I'm seeing some pop up in the chat right now. Booby Magic.
Booby Magic.
Long Duck Dong.
All right, what else you got there, Matt?
Sorry.
Stacks Max 87.
Sacks Max.
Stacks. Stacks Max. Yeah. Andrew Grzanka is next.
Good guy.
Yeah.
Dude, he made did I tell you guys this? He made a pizza on the Appalachian Trail on a rock.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
wild.
incredible.
Cool stuff. He was up looking at the eclipse too.
What was the last one?
Eric Craig Bean.
Eric Craig. All right.
Gangrene. Joey Jets 1188.
Okay.
James Falls.
I hope he's all right. What a guy. What a guy.
Yeah.
Gangrene 4496, a different one.
Ooh.
Or 4494, whatever. I just want to make sure that we get everyone. Pure Imagination.
Poker Face. Did you see that? Poker Face is a good name. That's really good, actually.
That's great. Donker Sloot is there. That's his real last name,
That's
by the way.
I was gonna say that is his real name.
Yeah.
Patrick Sullivan.
Long Dong Silver. I shouldn't be allowed to have a microphone.
Yeah.
Peter
Manish
LaFontaine.
Maida. That's a good one. What's
That's
that?
a great one. Dick Chimney was a funny one.
Yeah. What'd you say, Matt?
Peter LaFontaine.
I got that one.
Okay. 𝐒𝐿𝐫𝐞𝐞𝐫𝐲.
I was gonna say, big fella, you had it was right there for you. You had the name and everything, and then Green Bean's burner fixed it with KD.
And then the last one, Green Bean, is Peter from Hudson Valley.
Peter.
All right.
How many people we got?
57 tonight.
Love it. All right, random number spin wheel. 55. Who's 55?
Ooh, holy shit. That would be Peter LaFontaine from the O'Leary list.
Ooh,
nice.
See?
Peter here.
All you guys got to do is leave a timestamp comment. You get this is like at least the fourth time this has happened.
Yeah. So, right, Peter LaFontaine, he's not in the chat tonight, but you won nonetheless. So when you're listening back and you're timestamping, you're the guy. Congrats.
Let's see what we got. Spin wheel. Jersey. Pillow. Womp, womp, womp. You get to cry into our pillow when everything goes the wrong way. Or you get to cry into our pillow when everything's really great.
Who said that last week? They're going to sit on Matt's face.
So funny. I think it was 𝐬𝐿𝐫𝐞𝐞.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
𝐬𝐿𝐫𝐞𝐞's a raunchy dude.
That's funny,
Think.
man.
Love it. Whatever that name is, I forget the name. Reach out to me, JustTalk247 or talkinjetshow@gmail.com. I'll get shipping information. We'll send you out a pillow, courtesy of the Talkin Jets panel. We have reached the end of our show, boys and girls. Green Bean, any last words for our panel?
Green Bean Jets pod is out now. Take a listen. Nobody's listening to this one for some reason, so go ahead and check it out. It's fucking doing terrible. I don't know why. Yeah, tomorrow night, man, hanging out with Tigo for Armchair GM. I'm excited about it. 8 p.m. right here on Talkin Jets channel.
O'Leary, what you got going on?
A lot of Jets coverage for you coming up through the NFL draft. Me and Jeremy will be going at it on Thursday afternoon, so make sure to tune into that. And get your tickets for the Talkin Jets draft party. Tickets on sale through next Tuesday, April 16th.
Boys and girls, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Half the people watching this show are not subscribed, and that's very disappointing for us. We're trying to get this thing going as fast as we can. Greatly appreciate it. Boys and girls, make sure you hit that like button on the way out. Leave a timestamp comment down below along with your favorite name of whatever you think is correct down there. Whatever. All right, boys and girls, we will talk to you guys next week. Tuesday, 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock. This is Talkin Jets signing off. JETS.
Just go somewhere else. I can't take this nonsense anymore. How are you going to blame the defense?
I got the pouch. Screw Green Bean. Damn it.
But once you get to the sausage, I feel like we're doing something.
Go Jets.
And that's the other part of it is the people are insanely jealous of this show. This show gets the best of the best, and it does a different way with positivity.
He scores!
Ow, my head! No, come on.
What would you give up to see a Jets Super Bowl?
All of my friends and family.
Hit those milk thumbs, boys and girls.
Freeze frame.
Hold on to your underwear, ladies, and stand by, bitches. It's now time for Talkin Jets with your hosts, Matt, Ryan, and Green Bean.
Jets!